8-year-old Emma lived in a small, snowy town tucked between quiet hills and silver pine trees. Winters there were gentle but lonely, especially for Emma and her mother. Ever since her father passed away the previous spring, the warmth inside their home felt smaller, like a candle flickering in a cold room. Most children her age were excited for the holiday season, running around with colorful scarves and talking about toys they wished to receive. But Emma didn't feel the same excitement this year. She carried a different kind of wish, one she held deep inside her small heart. At the corner of Maple Street, beside the old shop that sold newspapers and candy, hung a tiny rusted mailbox. Its red paint had chipped away over the years, leaving patches of metal exposed to the winter wind. Someone had once painted the words "Santa" at the corner on it in uneven white letters. Most people ignored it, thinking it was nothing more than a decoration from long ago. But Emma believed in it. She believed in it more than she had believed in anything for months. She had spent the entire evening writing her letter, gripping her pencil tightly as she thought about what to say. She didn't ask for dolls or clothes or games. Instead, she wrote slowly and carefully, because this wish mattered more to her than anything she had ever wished for before. When morning came, snowflakes drifted down from the sky like tiny feathers. Emma bundled herself in her coat, her hat too big and slipping over her eyebrows. She held her letter close to her chest as she walked down the quiet street. The world seemed peaceful, covered in white, and the only sound was the soft crunch of snow beneath her boots. When she reached the corner box, she hesitated for a moment. She looked around nervously, making sure no one was watching. The street was still. She took a deep breath, opened the rusty flap, and slipped her letter inside. Her small hand lingered there, as if she wanted to make sure Santa really felt her wish. "Please write it," she whispered, her breath a small cloud in the cold air. "Please help Mom smile again." She didn't know that across the street, someone had seen her, someone who had been quietly observing this little tradition for years. Someone who would write her letter and take her Christmas into his own. Mr. Bennet had been a postman for more than 30 years before he retired. He knew every house number, every front porch, every family story that lived on Maple Street. After losing his wife 2 winters ago, he found comfort in small routines, like strolling through town in the early evenings, watching the snow settle on rooftops. One of his habits was stopping by the old corner shop, where he had once installed the tiny mailbox labeled Santa at the corner. He placed it there long ago as a playful gesture for the neighborhood children. Over the years, most kids stopped using it, choosing instead the big bright mailbox at the main post office. But Mr. Bennet kept the corner box clean, checking it occasionally out of nostalgia. He didn't expect it to matter again. That night, as he passed the corner shop, he noticed something unusual. The mailbox flap wasn't fully closed, as if someone had placed a letter inside just moments before. Curious, he brushed off the thin layer of snow, gently opened the little box, and found a small envelope decorated with uneven stars and shaky handwriting. He smiled softly. A child's letter, he thought. It had been years since he'd seen one in this box. He walked to a nearby bench and held the envelope beneath the street lamp's warm glow. The writing said simply, "To Santa." Carefully, he opened it, expecting a cheerful list of toys, sweets, or holiday wishes. But as he read the letter, his expression changed. His eyes softened, then welled up with emotion. The letter read, "Dear Santa, I don't want toys this year. I want my mom to smile again. She cries at night when she thinks I'm asleep. Dad went to heaven in the spring, and she hasn't been happy since. If you can, please bring her a little happiness. Love, Emma." Mr. Bennet sat still for a long time. He felt the cold wind, but it wasn't the winter chill that made him shiver. It was the weight of the little girl's pain. He remembered the nights he sat alone after his wife passed, feeling the same emptiness Emma's mother must be feeling now. He folded the letter gently and pressed it to his chest. In that moment, he made a quiet promise. If this little girl believed in Santa at the corner, then he would become exactly that. He would bring her mother the smile she missed so desperately, and he would do it with the kindness he once shared with the world as a postman, one letter at a time. The Christmas magic would begin. The next morning, Mr. Bennet woke with a sense of purpose he hadn't felt in a long time. The letter from Emma stayed on his bedside table, its gentle words echoing in his mind. He knew that granting what she asked was not something money could buy. A smile, especially one lost in grief, required warmth, love, and the help of others. So he stepped into his thick coat, put on his old postman's hat, and set out to gather pieces of joy from around town. His first stop was the local bakery, where the air always smelled of cinnamon and fresh bread. Mrs. Whittaker, the bakery owner, had known Emma's family for years. When Mr. Bennet quietly shared what Emma had written, her eyes softened. Without hesitation, she prepared a basket filled with warm pastries, ginger cookies shaped like stars, and a tiny cake decorated with the words "You are loved." She refused to take any payment. "This is from the town," she insisted with a smile. Next, Mr. Bennet visited the florist. The owner, Mr. Hale, was arranging poinsettias in the window when he heard the story. He paused, swallowed hard, and nodded silently. He selected a small potted plant, something bright and cheerful but easy to care for. "This one brings peace," he said, placing it gently into a bag. At the town hall, Mr. Bennet approached the mayor, a kindly woman named Marion, who had always admired the quiet strength of Emma's mother. After hearing the letter, the mayor gathered volunteers to help create handmade decorations, paper snowflakes, knitted ornaments, and small messages of encouragement written on colorful cards. Everyone wanted to contribute something, even if it was something small. Meanwhile, Emma returned home from school every day unaware of the quiet ripple her letter had created. Her mother, Clara, tried her best to move through each day, though her smile often faded before it fully formed. She tucked Emma into bed every night, whispering "I love you" even when her voice trembled. By Christmas Eve, Mr. Bennet had gathered everything he needed. He packed the basket carefully, tucking the notes and gifts inside like precious secrets. As the sky darkened and snow began to fall in soft, glowing flakes, he carried the basket to Emma's home. Their porch was dark and plain, a quiet symbol of the heaviness inside the house, but tonight he planned to change that. Tonight, Santa at the corner would bring light back to a home that had been dim for far. As Christmas Eve deepened into a soft, silent night, Emma and her mother returned home from the candlelight service at church. Their footsteps crunched lightly in the snow as they walked up the familiar path to their porch, but something felt different. Emma stopped first, her eyes wide with surprise, and tugged at her mother's hand. There, on their small wooden porch, a warm golden glow shimmered beneath the falling snow. Tiny lights, gently strung around the railing, flickered like stars guiding them home, and in the center of it all sat a beautifully arranged basket wrapped in red ribbon. Emma gasped, her breath catching in the icy air. Clara stood frozen, her eyes slowly filling with tears she could no longer hold back. The basket looked magical under the lights, as though it had appeared from another world. Attached to it was a simple handwritten tag that read, "For Emma and Mom, from Santa at the corner." Emma knelt beside it, her little hands trembling with excitement, while her mother covered her mouth with her gloved hands. Inside the basket were warm pastries that still held the scent of cinnamon, a small potted plant with bright green leaves, and a set of handmade ornaments wrapped gently in tissue paper. But what caught Clara's eye was the letter placed carefully on top. She unfolded it slowly, feeling the weight of each word as she read, "Dear Clara, you are not alone. Your grief is real, but so is your strength. Your daughter needs your smile, and your town cares for you more than you know." May this Christmas bring you comfort, warmth, and new hope from someone who believes in you. Clara pressed the letter to her heart. She had spent so many nights hiding her sadness, believing she had to be strong for Emma. But standing there, under the soft glow of Christmas lights, she felt something shift inside her. It wasn't the return of the life she had lost, but the reminder that kindness still existed around her. A small, fragile smile finally touched her lips, one that reached her eyes, one Emma had been longing to see again. Emma threw her arms around her mother, burying her face in her coat. "Santa heard us," she whispered, her voice trembling with joy. Clara held her close, whispering back, "Yes, sweetheart, he really did." Across the street, hidden beneath the shadow of a tall lamppost, Mr. Bennet watched quietly. He saw the light return to their faces, felt his own heart warm in the winter cold, and